Hello, everyone, and welcome to my CBS GH spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Today's full episode on Thursday, March 6th, 2026, we finally know who fathered Delilah's secret baby, and Port Charles will never be the same. Fans waited 9 months for this moment. Today, the truth exploded across every room of General Hospital, and nobody was ready. It started like any other Thursday morning in Port Charles. Coffee was brewing at Kelly's Diner, nurses were gossiping at the Hub, Dr. Monica Quartermain was making her rounds with the quiet authority of a woman who has survived more drama than a Greek tragedy. Nobody, absolutely nobody, walked into General Hospital on March 6, 2026, expecting their entire world to be turned upside down. But that's exactly what happened. Because today, after 9 agonizing months of lies, misdirection, stolen DNA results, and one absolutely unhinged paternity cover-up that reached the highest levels of Port Charles society, the truth about Delilah Ashworth's secret baby finally came out. And the father? You are not going to believe it. The morning that changed everything. The episode opened with Delilah, looking exhausted but breathtakingly composed in a pale blue wrap dress, sitting alone in the hospital chapel. Her infant daughter, whom she'd been calling Lily in private, slept in a carrier at her feet. Her hands were trembling. She knew what was coming. The sealed DNA results were sitting in an envelope on Dr. Finn's desk, and she had exactly 1 hour before the people she'd been running from would arrive to open them. Her voiceover was chilling. I made choices I can't take back. I just pray that Lily never has to pay for them. Meanwhile, across town, the Quartermain mansion was already buzzing. Brooke Lynn had intercepted a text. Somehow, some way, she always intercepts the text, and called an emergency family breakfast. Harris arrived looking confused. Ned arrived looking hungover. And then in walked Harrison Voss, the silver-tongued real estate magnate who'd blown into Port Charles 6 months ago and immediately started turning heads and breaking hearts. He sat down at the breakfast table like he owned the room, poured himself a coffee, and said nothing, just smiled. That smile, that smile. The confrontation at the Hub. By mid-morning, the hospital was a powder keg. Portia Robinson had already pulled Dr. Finn aside and practically begged him not to open those results without Delilah present. Finn, to his credit, held firm. This was a medical matter, and it would be handled properly. But when Elizabeth walked past the Hub and noticed Delilah sprinting toward the elevator, pale as a ghost, she knew the clock had run out early. Someone had leaked. Curtis Ashford, bless his heart, was the one who put the pieces together first. He'd been quietly running his own investigation for weeks, ever since Delilah showed up at the Savoy one rainy night, ordered 3 glasses of wine she didn't touch, and whispered, I need you to promise me something, Curtis. If anything happens to me, protect Lily. He'd promised. He just hadn't known what he was protecting her from. By 11 a.m., he had his answer. The DNA results and the chaos they unleashed. The reveal happened in Finn's office, and half of Port Charles somehow managed to cram themselves into a room meant for 4 people. Delilah sat rigid in her chair. Harrison Voss stood by the window with his arms crossed. Portia lingered near the door, and in walked the one person nobody expected, Valentin Cassadine. The room went silent. Valentin, cool, calculating, wearing a suit that probably cost more than most people's cars, looked directly at Delilah and said, I think we both know what that envelope says. Finn opened it. He read it once to himself, then read it again, then looked up at the room with an expression that could only be described as professionally stunned. The biological father, Finn said slowly, is Harrison Voss. Gasps, actual audible gasps. But that wasn't even the bombshell, because Valentin then stepped forward, reached into his jacket pocket, and produced a second document, a legal filing from 3 weeks ago. In it, Harrison Voss had already signed away his parental rights before the results were even officially confirmed, before anyone else in that room even knew they were being tested. Harrison knew. Harrison had always known, and he'd been trying to disappear Lily from the equation before she could ever be used as leverage against him. Because Harrison Voss, it turned out, wasn't just a real estate magnate. He was a silent partner in a shell company connected to a WSB money laundering operation that Anna Devane had been investigating for the better part of 2 years. Little Lily wasn't just a baby, she was evidence. The aftermath no one saw coming. The final 30 minutes of today's episode were pure, uncut, premium soap opera chaos. Harrison lunged for the document. Chase tackled him. Yes, Chase, who apparently had been standing in the hallway the entire time and chose that moment to play hero, and they crashed into a supply cart in a cascade of tongue depressors and paper cups. Security arrived. Harrison was detained. Delilah collapsed in tears into Portia's arms, whispering that she'd known for months but had been threatened into silence. She showed Portia the burner phone she'd been using, dozens of texts from an unknown number, warning her that if the truth came out, she and Lily would disappear like the last problem Harrison solved. Meanwhile, Valentin pulled Elizabeth into a corner and said something that will clearly ignite next week's storyline. I already have enough to arrest him, but there are others involved, people in this hospital, people you trust. Elizabeth's face drained of all color. And in the final scene, the one that had every viewer screaming at their screen, the camera cut to the hospital nursery. Delilah stood at the window, Lily pressed against her chest, watching the chaos unfold on the floor below. And then her phone buzzed, an unknown number, one message. The DNA results were the least of your secrets, Delilah. I know about the other baby. What does it all mean? Port Charles has been shaken to its foundation. Harrison Voss is in custody, but clearly just a piece of a much larger puzzle. Valentin's involvement raises 1,000 new questions. Since when is he working with the WSB, and what does he want in return? And who is the mysterious texter who knows about the other baby? Fans on social media are already losing their minds. Hashtag #WhoIsTheOtherBaby was trending nationally within minutes of the East Coast broadcast. Theories are flying. A twin? A surrogate situation? A baby from Delilah's past she thought she'd buried? One thing is certain. The writers have been playing a long game with Delilah Ashworth. What looked like a simple paternity storyline has unraveled into a conspiracy that touches the WSB, the Cassadines, and apparently secrets buried so deep that even Valentin looks worried. And when Valentin looks worried, everyone should be worried. Tomorrow's episode cannot come fast enough.